Hi guys, welcome back to Creative Frenzy. Okay, so today I wanted to share with you a fun little project you can do with all those envelopes you've been collecting. So if you're like me, you like envelopes, you don't like to waste paper. And, you know, what do you do with them once you have them all? So I had a whole stack, as you can see. I got my gel plate out and I had fun with some stencils too. So we're going to make something with it now that we have them all fancied up. You could obviously create with collage and things like that, but I wanted to do paint, cover up, you know, any addresses and things like that or whatever. You didn't have to have them exposed. So I just used black magic marker, Sharpie actually, and I just covered up any writing that was on there that I didn't want to show through, and then I just put them on the gel plate. Easy peasy, right? And then stencil, you're good to go. If you think ahead of time, you can attach some of them like this with masking tape, so you can paint right over top of it with the gel plate and you're good to go. What I've done with the windows, because I wanted to keep the windows, what I did was, what did I do? Washi tape. Because it's low tack, you can just peel it right off and it doesn't rip the plastic of the window. So, which is perfect. So I have a bunch with windows and then a bunch without windows. And now we have to make something with it. To add to this, if you didn't want to, not waste it, but if you didn't want to create a whole thing with it, like a whole journal, which is what I am going to do, you can just use it inside a art journal, or, you know, you could do whatever you liked with it. That's the beauty of this project. But I also saved a bunch of paper backings, like packaging, which I am going to use to tuck in here. So, you know, waste not, want not. A lot of these will fit in here. They might be a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. It doesn't matter. You can trim them as needed. But I like the idea of being able to see some of that. If you wanted to do the inside of the envelope, you obviously could. It does make quite a bit of noise. Now, there is a bit of white around these cellophane windows, unfortunately, but that's easily fixable with some marker or, you know, maybe even some washi tape around the edges. You could do that too. So, problem solving, right? So this is the one I sort of thought ahead of time I could turn into one of those ones you can tuck into an art journal or traveler's notebook and things like that. Anything with some kind of opening for the elastic to sort of tuck it in there. But, you know, I didn't always think ahead of everything. So clear tape is going to be my best friend in this case, because how are you going to put these into signatures? Well, I'm making a whole booklet. So, you know, it's a question of sorting. And because these are different sizes, you know, which is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. It will still work, right? So anytime you have junk mail, so this is some other junk mail I had with one of my bills. I just created something a little bit different, you know, just doodling and whatever. It's from natural gas. It's one of those info pamphlet leaflets. I have no use for it, and instead of recycling it, I just am repurposing it. So anyway, so how do we create a book out of this? That is the question of the day. All right. So you want your opening usually all on the right hand side because it makes it easier. So we're going to have our openings facing away from each other. And then all we are going to do, because this is my cover, I think I'm going to, go like this. I could go like this and have the window on the inside. Maybe we'll do that. So it's a plain cover, so we can decorate that a little bit easier. Now, what you can do is you can either line them up on the bottom, like this, or you could center it, whatever you choose. A grid mat helps because then you can sort of keep them all kind of the same and have them all kind of, you know, similar in size, so that when you put it together as a signature, it'll be a little bit easier to put together. So if this tape thing bothers you, excuse my noise, but I'm going to cut a length. You don't have to do the full length of the envelopes, but just big enough so where you're going to put your stitches. Sorry, I drew a blank there. Okay, so the idea is to center it. There we go. I'm using clear tape so I can see through it. Had I thought of this ahead of time, you could obviously use masking tape so you can print right over top. As long as you do it on both sides, you should be good to go. As long as they're all more or less similar, it'll be fine. So the reason why I'm doing it on both sides is so I don't get that sticky center piece, because that'll be exposed when you put your spine together. But now you have the beginnings of a signature this way. Sorry. All right. And I did this wrong, didn't I? Oh, that's a very good start, Sasha. Luckily we have a gazillion and more envelopes. All right. That was, see, talking and taping at the same time. All right, let's do that again, shall we? So you can either match it up, or you could do your own little colorway if that's what you like to do. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do it. But we are going to fix our, or my mistake, not ours, mine. We're going to try that again. So opening and opening. Yeah, we're good to go. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done a video, so if you've seen my woodland series, I filmed that a while back. So it has been a minute since I've done this. All right. And now I'm busy doing this, so, you know, it's okay. That's why we have lots of envelopes, so we can cut the other one open. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Nothing that can't be fixed later. I just won't do it on camera and make you watch all the boring things. And if you go over, you can trim that. The scissors, since I'm holding my tape together. Now you could sew these with a sewing machine afterwards if you wanted to. I don't know how strong this tape will be once you sew it, so I have no idea. You could do fabric like seam binding or something like that. I'm sure that would work just as well. All right, opening on the outside. Opening on the outside. Yeah. So sometimes I match them up and sometimes I don't. Now you could stagger these. You could do some on the top, some on the bottom, but if you wanted it to stand like a little art book, then doing them all even on the bottom makes it a little bit easier for it to stand. Especially since I'm not probably going to make a cover for this. You absolutely could, but it all depends on what you felt like doing. So you could try make one with a cover and then try one without and see which one you like best. Okay. So that's half the fun of these, because you know, they're not really expensive little pieces of paper. It's just recycled stuff. So it's a good thing to experiment with. So if you wanted to try something a little bit different, you absolutely could, because it's just reusing some envelopes you're going to toss anyway. But there we have another one. Again, you could flip it this way, you could do it this way, whichever way you want it. Now we have two, and then so most of these don't have the flap. I just trimmed them off because I didn't want them on, but you could absolutely keep them on. It is entirely up to you. if you like the look of the flaps. Like some of them do have flaps. Let me see, do I have any? I do have some in here. So some do have flaps, right? So they insert another envelope for the return envelope, and then you can use the flap on the outside. And then if you want to create a closure, because you've decorated that too, you absolutely could. That would look pretty cute too. So whichever one you decide, I think it would look good. All right. So depending on how many of these you make, you could do a bunch of signatures and then put them all into one cover, or you can make them into individual small little art books. So this is a fun way to create your own little art journal. Oh, not too far apart. This is why it helps to have that little grid, so you can do them all pretty much the same. That's a little bit too far. You want just enough room for your fold. So when you're putting it together with your floss or whatever you're using, it'll work nicely. All right, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 of these, and then I will show you how I would put them together. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So again, you could use paper if you wanted to glue it on there to make the bridge to attach them, or you could use masking tape, right? Whatever you have on hand. So you can do them all the same, or you can go, oops, you can go the other way. So it depends on which one you want as a cover. Let's see. Which one do I want as a cover? You know what? This one right here. This way. There we go. Okay. I think I got it. So 1, 2. So if you want to switch some around, you absolutely could. So you have 2 windows facing each other, or they can face out. That's okay too. This way, because you want them all kind of even on the bottom. So now, there we go. We have our little art booklet. So now here, what we're going to do is we are going to create our little signature. I just use a foam board, and probably paper clips would be handy for this. Paper clips. You could use whatever you have on hand. You got to keep those little things together. So you leave that space in there so that when you go to put it together, it'll be easier to see. Now, if you miss it a little bit, it's not the end of the world. You just want to make sure it folds nicely, that's all. Make sure, double check, make sure all your openings are on the outside. It would help. There we go. Yes, okay. So, puncture tool. I do have my needle somewhere. I have no idea where it went to. Don't even know where it went. I used to have them all together, but now I've lost it. Hold on. No, I didn't lose it. Ta-da! So it's just a question of, you know, keeping it together. So sort of wherever you feel like. Make sure you're within the tape parameters, so you're not going to lose it. And then choose some bright embroidery floss for it. Ooh, hot pink. Let's do that. Do I have something that is open? There we go. Now you can leave this long, you can cut it shorter afterwards, it's entirely up to you. I'm not even going to separate them, I'm just going to keep them all together. So I hope everyone knows what a pamphlet, 3-hole pamphlet stitch is. If not, here's a quick little show. There's not much to it. Just start in the middle and then do your outer pieces. Alright, make sure you don't pull it all the way through. And it's a little bit difficult to find the hole with the plastic, but it'll be fine. And then through the center. Come on. Make sure you're on the other side of that bridge. And there we go. Now, again, you can leave this long. You made a little tail, whatever you felt like doing. Make sure it's nice and snug. Yep. We are good to go. Now, if you wanted to, you could create this with elastic, and then you don't have to, so again, you could leave the tail as is, or you can cut it, whatever you felt like doing. In this case, I might cut it. It is a little bit on the long side, but there. Keep the rest. It's fine. I kind of like that pink in there. So now we have our little envelope art journal, and you can use your gel prints for this. You can use some other plain colored paper if you wanted to, and then you can reuse your packaging for tags because they have a nice structure to them already. You can paint them, you can collage them, take away the extra bits that are peeled off. So let's make one for it. So all we have to do is go like this, and then we can put some washi around the outside edges. So if you don't have your own art tape, that I created some in another video. I will see if I can link it somewhere in here, and then you can see for yourself how you can do it. Or if you have some really pretty washi you don't know what to do with, you know, you can use that. Because you are putting it in here, you want something that sticks a little bit more. So using a glue stick will probably help nicely. So we'll get that out. Let's see. Ooh, some orange maybe? No. Thing is, some of my washi tapes are almost towards the end, and it's very difficult to gauge how much to use before you run out. But you know, you can color coordinate these and then just go from there. So you can do this neatly, you can do it messily, you can do whatever way you felt like doing. You could also use paper if you didn't want to use washi, but it's a good idea to use up your washi tape. Washi tape doesn't last forever, and it does create a little bit more interest around your little window, which is kind of cool. And you get to color coordinate them, which is also nice. There. So that makes it a little bit more noticeable. It looks nice with the yellow. So you can pick a color. I mean, most of us have just about all the rainbow colors, so I'm sure it'll be just fine. Or you could do even strips of paper and then glue them on. That would work just as well. So if you wanted to use book page or whatever, you absolutely could. All right, so I also have, let's see, let me grab it, my other gel prints, which I just store in an old book cover, which is a lot of fun to keep everything together. And then here, so if you like to experiment with different techniques, like I've done some mono printing, I don't know, there's a bunch of different things in here. So So some ideas, some better than others, you know, things like that. You could absolutely use those inside this because, you know, you can just cut it up to size. What do I want? I want something with a... So from here, you know, you sort of want to pick a color that would go with it, that doesn't quite clash, but still looks interesting. So I keep a lot of my papers that are, oh, there we go, here's some yellow, bit of orange. So a lot of these papers like this, they are beautiful. What else am I going to use them for, right? So this is the perfect time to be using a lot of this. Creating an art book is all about using what you already have to create something, you know, inspirational, something that can create more projects for future. So, you know, something to look through later on for more ideas. So that's kind of what, you could leave it whole. You don't have to tear it apart. It's entirely up to you. I'm just taking off the white so I'm not seeing that. You could paint this if you wanted to. You could paint it. It's entirely up to you. So I just use the good old glue stick. A dry glue for collage is usually best, I find. That way nothing gets too wrinkly. I don't know. There's nothing worse than having a nice project where it's all gonna, you know, it's got all these giant wrinkles in it. Unless that is the look you're going for. It's not my favorite look. Alright. So you could use several different colors if you wanted to. And then just put the glue where you sort of want to have that. So you're not using the whole piece, but you are using just enough to cover the area you want. You can trim that all off later. It'll look nice once it's all trimmed. It'll be perfect. Contrast. We need something, I don't know, something pink maybe. Ooh, how about peach? I think that would be pretty. Ooh, that'd be pretty too. We can use that after. Hold on. I find, you know, I keep all these little bits and pieces because you never know when you need a little small piece, right? So being the crafter that I am, I save just about everything. Which suits me just fine. It does make for a lot of scrap bins, but that's okay. I don't know. I don't want to create too much of one color. Just trying to show how you can just make it easy. Alright, I think maybe what we'll do is we'll do some of this. You could use as many or as little pieces of paper that you like. And if you wanted to use this as an inspiration art journal, on the other side you could just use some plain coffee dyed paper or copy paper itself, just to create a little bit of interest, or place to put your thoughts and ideas. There. Now we need scissors. So a lot of us recycle anyway, so this is just a perfect opportunity to use up all those little bits and pieces and create something fun. It doesn't have to be, you know, perfect art. Art is whatever you create. So you could use your favorite color combinations, you could use your favorite scrapbook paper. If you like neutrals, do it all in neutrals, that's okay. Now, if you have a punch that is like this, absolutely you can use it. You could just poke a hole in it with your regular hole punch later. That's okay too. Or you could just cover it up and don't even bother with it. You can make a little tab on the side so you can pull it out of the envelope and just disguise the whole fact that it was, you know, packaging to begin with. So there is that. So now what do we need? We need something for the back. And I don't have any coffee dyed paper over here. Do I? No, I don't. Let me grab one. I think I'd be more prepared. But obviously, I'm not. That's okay. So again, this can be an art journal. It doesn't have to be a junk journal. I really enjoy making art journals because they are so versatile, and you know, again, you don't have to actually write anything in an art journal, even though it says journal. It could just be an idea book. It's just, you could even make a bunch of these tags to make for junk journals, and you can store them in this art journal, or however you want to do this. So if you wanted to do Christmas, you absolutely could, because I think that would be really cool. And then, you know, you can coordinate everything if you wanted to, or you can keep it simple. Making one of these as an inspirational thing, that would be really cool. I think that would be a fun gift to make, especially with Christmas coming up. These would make a great encouragement journal for someone you care about, or even just for yourself. But it's a place to experiment and have fun, which is exactly my cup of tea. There we go. It will curve a little bit, but that's okay because you can always come in and flatten it out. Once the glue is dried, it'll be better. But there we go. Now you can create a little tab for pulling out of the envelope. So here we have our envelope. Let's create a little bit of space. So if you wanted to, like this. See how that looks so cute? I think that's really pretty. And then you can make a little tag, so, or a little tag. Yes, we are making tags. A tab, that's the word. So you could do a contrasting color. Again, you know, it's entirely up to you. Or because black is all the way throughout, you could always do one color that is throughout the whole project, which kind of makes everything cohesive, which is pretty cool. All right, so what did I recently buy? So recently, yeah, I think this is it. I got some more of Dina Wakley's stamps. Oh, I love these. They're so nice. I haven't used them yet, but I think these would look really nice on here. So if you have a stamp set that you really want to try out, you know, for different reasons, if you make a bunch of these cards ahead of time, you can obviously use them in any application that you could possibly want. Whether you stamp right onto here, it might not always turn out, but that's okay. That's a risk to take. Or if you stamp onto some white paper and then, you know, glue it on, whatever, the traditional way, you could do it either way. Yeah, like this. Oh, there we go. It's a big one. Let's just I don't know why they come with this weird kind of, you know, it's not sticky necessarily, but it's not something conducive to picking up ink, which makes it a little bit more difficult to use. That is not big enough. Hold on. I will have to get out the big one. Oh, there it is. I think it's a Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart to the rescue. All right. So I'm just going to stamp it onto something else so that I can actually see if it's going to work properly. So I loved using the gel plate for these envelopes because it was so easy to just play with the colors and things like that. I'm just going to use the back of this one. That's fine. Just want to make sure it goes down. Just hold it down for a few seconds. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so that's not bad. It's definitely doable. I could cut it out from there, but I want to see if it'll, well, I might be taking this project a little bit too seriously, but it's okay. You can come in and color it in if you like, but because we did the collage in the background, it'll be fine. Just have to hold it for a little bit, just to make sure the ink transfers. And then keep your fingers crossed. That's not bad. I'm okay with that. That's doable. And then we can do, where did I put it? We could leave it like that, that's okay. Now what I do like to do, because, you know, that is my MO, is, where are you? I do like to do circles on there. That's just the way I like to do things, but it is entirely up to you. So these are more egg-shaped, but they're a rough circle, which is kind of nice. So you can add a little bit of contrasting color like that. I like that. Cover up that ink pad before it dries out. So just a punch of a darker color. You could ink the edges of this if you want it. Oops, well, we can trim that, it's fine. Just doing this on the fly here. I had an idea and I just ran with it, basically. That's, you know, that's how I create things. There's a reason why this channel is called Creative Frenzy. Okay, so what we can do is we can color in the hair. We could do the cheeks if we wanted to. We can just grab some pencil crayons. You could use watercolors. You could use marker. I have often used highlighters to use in these things, because highlighters you really don't use for a whole lot of things. So here's a highlighter. Let's give her some extra yellow hair. Because the background has quite a bit of color, the colors will change a little bit, which is okay. So you could do it any which way you like. I just have a lot. There we go. And that is it. Now we need a tab. I don't think I have black ones. I kind of wanted to keep it all the same. So I do have a bunch in here. Oh, I don't know. No, I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have black, unfortunately. Hold on. I think I will ink the edges though, just to make it pop a little bit more. Again, if you have an inspirational quote, you could obviously put one on there. If you have some of those Tim Holtz word stickers, they would work nicely. Hang on, I have these ones. These are small talk stickers. I get these on AliExpress. So this here is just because just because I felt like it. So there we go. All right, here's our booklet. Pop that in there. So she's peeking through the window. That's cute. And there we have the beginning of a really cute art journal. Simple, you know, use up some envelopes you got lying around. I'm sure most of us have been collecting for a while. You don't just have to use them for junk journals, you can also use them for art journals, which is pretty cool. So I'll be making more of these, and you know, I will take you along on my little journey like I've done with some of my other magazine to junk journals, or any journal for that matter, and let's have some fun together. So hopefully get your envelopes out, do some gel printing or painting, stenciling, whatever you felt like doing. You could even just use a bunch of stamps on this and some watercolor paint and have fun. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.